I believe that any child problem is a family problem. So if I believe that, I will never stay on the child in isolation, I will look at how this become a family problem, So I will be focusing on the family as the frame inside which to put the child problem. Many therapists are very competent, do exactly the opposite. They take out the family, they look at the child, and try to help the child alone. Me, therapist, and the child. It's called child psychiatrist, child psychoanalyst. There is a lot of literature about that. My way is completely different. I will never look at the child alone. I will never see, rarely I will see the child alone. I will feel that I steal the child from the family. So the family is my framework. Then who is the family? What's the family? So the family is never two parents with the child. I have always an idea of a family that introduces history, development. So you have at least to have 3 generations in your head. So if I have to define myself, I would never say that I'm a systemic therapist. I would rather say, if I have to give a label, that I'm an integration between systemic and developmental therapist. Is the developmental part is as important as the systemic part. My brother was the youngest of the 3, was 3 years younger than me, and he died when he was about 27. He was feeling like there was no space for him, and he was too depressed, too sad, it was too complicated for him, Anything will hurt him, especially emotionally. He was fighting against the most incredible quantity of medication, neuroleptic, big stuff. So then he tried a number of times to either to show or to try, about commit suicide. I care about the family. So my care is for the team. It's almost like you are a trainer of a failing team and you want to make something good of this failing team. This is my job. I'm a trainer. I care about the parents more indirectly, meaning that by caring about their children, I care about them. Because it's the precious thing. I don't talk with children as children. I talk through children to the family. So the question is never to the child. When I say to the child, how was daddy when he was 10 years old? What he was doing? He was very busy. How was with the parents of daddy? What they will do with him? So I work with the child. I don't ask questions to the child for the child. I go through the child, to father or to mother. So I will try to enlarge the picture from this two-parent-child to parents who are brought back to their childhood with other parents. So in these questions to the child, I introduce already 3 generations, a new floor. I got the idea that it's like getting a labyrinth, and what's the way out, okay? If you have a labyrinth. So what I tried to do, never go alone in the labyrinth, which means you have to have someone that guide you. So, patient, the client, the child, the adolescent with difficulties, I create a relationship with that person and I implicitly ask for help. Bring me inside your family. So this patient, this child or adolescent will keep me and guide me. So this is the first step. Then what is the next one? Is let's look for other problems that don't concern you. So the second direction is to make an exploration of problems that have never been solved, who has nothing to do with that child. So, but that child brings me to the right point. And then I try to see how to mobilize, the second issue, the second problem, in order to create an alliance with the person, let's say mother, father, grandparent, sibling, to look for a way out. The way out is when the family will feel we can make it. We can make it, meaning that we have enough resources inside our unit to survive and to go to our next issues in our development. So you are the secret keeper of the family, Alicia? What scares you the most in this family? Because this family looks too nice not to be fake,
Don't tell me, tell him. Tell Janet.
Well, it looks like everything is fine, and that smell fake to me. So, I understand that we are in a fake context here. It's not an intimate room. But if you want to get something back, it's better we move from smell of fakeness to real shit, to something that you really don't like. And I think Alicia has to give up to be the secret keeper of the family.
Then if you're not talking, then don't talk.
Yeah, you probably are the only one that it would be better if you don't talk. Maybe Alicia will start talking.
Would you like me to leave the room?
No, just to shut up. Because if you listen instead to making all
He's
the talking.
pushing my wrong buttons.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that in order to make you to enlarge other system inside yourself, not to put you down.
No, I understand that.
I know it's tough.
But they're all the wrong buttons.
I know it's tough for you not to make all the effort to keep this family looking as it's a good, happy family.
Well, what am I supposed to do? Are we all supposed to look unhappy and sad and in rags and no makeup and sit here and can I please have a tissue or can I throw something at you? Or am I supposed to try and keep some semblance of order or let us all fall apart?
Now, today, you don't need to be the policeman of the family. I will do the job.
No, I'm not the policeman. I just have to keep...
Okay.
Somebody has to be glue.
For an hour, don't keep. Can I ask you, don't keep?
Okay, I'm not keeping. I'm getting tissues. I'm getting really annoyed with you.
Good.
It's fine.
That's terrific if you get annoyed with me.
Okay.
That means that for a moment you don't have to keep all the attention to take this family like you are really able to fix them up. Because it's too much for you. And maybe if you don't keep all the family in your hands, we are really to understand if he,
Then the only way I can...
if he is alive as a husband, alive as a father, and alive as a child, because I'm still there. I don't know. I don't know. Of course, this is, I talk now today. I don't know what answer would have given you when I was 40 years old. Probably my discomfort at that age was based on my voice, which I couldn't stand when I look back. Was too arrogant, too strong, too provocative. And also, I think the level of activity in the session, being very active, was part of my probably discharging some of my discomfort in too much stuff that was coming to me. So I'm not sure, this is my guess. So today I'm older, I feel I'm much more equipped to have pain, violence, sadness, to come close to me. It's almost when you have a coat and it's raining, the rain goes out, doesn't get inside. So I have my own coat. Now you are a queen prima donna. That's nice. That is not dangerous. Don't worry.
No, she didn't know what it was.
Okay. Now you are Queen Alicia. But what I'm saying, if this man was a bastard, what is his name?
I don't care to use it.
The first name?
It sticks in my throat. It's like a chicken bone.
Maybe she would like to know the name of the
I
first.
know, and I don't want to say it either.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think it has anything to do with now.
So you two really built up a very strong peer relationship from the stress of your life.
Yes.
That means now you understand more. What happened is that when she doesn't act so mature, she has to act like a stupid little girl. She doesn't have other options. Either she's too mature or he has to be too little stupid, spoiled girl. So one of the issues is if she can go back sooner or later with you and at age level and to feel that she has been having a lot of turmoil in her life, but that she can still believe to be a 13 years old. Now, a 13 years old wouldn't be ashamed to tell the name of the father, even if the father was a pastor.
She knows the name.
I know, this is a game with me.
I don't want to say it either, so I don't.
And I'm just saying the two
because she's copying
appears.
what she said.
No,
She's
I
copying
don't
from her
really
mother.
care. It has nothing
That
to do
what
with
happened
it.
is that she has been learning how to be more a peer with mommy, and probably your way to keep the family together with this kind of peer relationship was totally wrong from the beginning. And that might explain
At
the need
age-
to move there.
At age 5, when the judge asked her, and if you're allowed to use profanity, which obviously you
Absolutely.
started, when the judge asked her, how do you feel about this man becoming your new daddy? What about the other man? She said, he's a fuck.
Who
She
said
was-
that?
Said that?
She said that. She was 5 years old. I did not tell her to say that.
Mommy, sometimes you want to play stupid, and you don't deserve that.
No, well, she may have picked it
She
up.
said it to the judge.
She may have heard. She heard
She
you.
inherited.
She heard the word.
She inherited the anger.
Yeah.
No.
The
You
anger
must
came
have,
from
Roy.
here and
You must
enter
have,
here.
because she's
And
got-
how a little girl cannot accept the
But-
heritage of Mother's anger. And I think she made
the
all
little
this
girl
anger
sees
inside.
her biological father beat her mother, yes, then she
Yeah,
sees
I'm
the
not saying
anger.
that that was wrong. I'm just saying don't
That's
play
right.
like she was a
Right.
little...
No, but I didn't program her mind to tell the judge.
Your
She picked it
anger
up.
has been always shared with this grown-up woman. You have been always sharing that anger with her because she was your main support system. She has been playing more support for you than him in many ways. You know that.
No, I disagree.
Disagree? If you disagree, it's much better.
Young, when I didn't have him,
Yeah.
when it was just me
Yeah.
and her.
That's what he
Me and
means.
you.
Yes.
That's what he means.
So we are talking about training. People get training. And if it's a good training, people learn and keep the training.
Oh,
So she's
okay.
been trained.
So now I became responsible.
No.
That's
what?
what he's saying.
Am I responsible?
I'm just saying your peers. And maybe that's wrong. Now, it's too late for her to learn that it's 13 and you, how old are you?
Gonna be 39.
39. So 39 is 39, 13 is 13. Now, maybe it's too late, maybe it's impossible, maybe you don't like. Because sometimes you might feel more understood on all your past bad experience from a person who is a peer than from a little girl who is your daughter. Do you understand? Yeah, we don't have to rush. We don't care about the people. I care about these people. So, I need a few more minutes.
Yeah.
You want this link?
No, I want to
He
shake
wants
hands
to.
with
He wants to talk.
you. No,
He
no, I
wants-
don't want to talk. I just like the way you said that.
No, it's
That's very
you
good.
see, this it's on.
Trouble making sometimes helps, you know?
Parents prefer not to be involved and to delegate to us the treatment of their children. Any sort of treatment. Can be medication, psychotherapy, play therapy, whatever. Because as soon as in a family there is a child with a problem, parents immediately feel we did something wrong. Who did something wrong? You, me, together. Oh, we have to feel guilty because our child is not eating, is not going good in school, is depressed, is left out, is violent. So parents are very sensitive to accuse themselves immediately about whatever is wrong in the child. So of course, if they go to an institution that say, no, don't worry, we take care of the child, they feel very relaxed. When I was a child psychiatrist, they were very happy to be in the waiting room and making me to do the work with the child. They were very happy because they were waiting from outside the results instead of taking charge. But this is also part of a sort of implicit alliance between a model that says, I fix your child, you don't know how to do, I have the competence, and their desire not to feel accused and blamed. So this kind of marriage is very sick because produce overpower in us, so we always have to have solution for people in trouble, and put families in the position of understanding nothing about what happened in their families, you know? So the big challenge is to transform fix my child to the idea, let's work together. And then, of course, when you do that, you have to convince parents that they don't have to be blamed.
You had to kick the ass of this prima donna.
Yeah.
Because you are in a really difficult loyalty position.
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
you have been always thinking that something was wrong in this woman, your daughter. That means she's very good in many things, but very mature in others.
Yeah.
And you have been always a very good support system
Right.
for her.
Right.
Now, And that's not bad. I mean, if you look at the Italian structure of families, grandparents help their kids even till the day in which they die, even after death.
Right.
Why not? Now, the point is how you can help them. And I think by making this girl to believe even more that she is somehow, because if she's not organically healed, she might be considered a little crazy, bizarre, strange, peculiar, you know?
Yeah.
So she can develop a sense of being really different. And the first difference is that she has been adopted by that man. She has been joining a religion, but in reality it's like she has to be in the Jewish community with the grandparents.
No.
You will follow me.
I follow
She's there, she's now little. You are the mature part, the consultant here.
Yeah.
So if you want to help her, that is your major desire, and of course the kids,
Absolutely.
you don't have to rescue too much her from dangers that may have to be worked out there.
Right.
Because I think is
Well, we
to
only
have too
did is a-
protective system might become a danger. But
That's
you have to
true.
be sure that beside be an adopted father and to have them Catholic, that he will make him more visible with this girl. I think he has to do something. You have to do a lot. She doesn't have to do anything. She can't do anything. She's tied, you know, like this. She's totally tied.
Why is that?
Why?
Why?
Because she has been overworking during these years. She has been trying to do any sort of number to play grandparent, child, adult, Jewish, Catholic, Muslim, any sort of thing, you know?
Uh-huh.
She has been learning that in order to survive, she had to change her dresses any other day, okay? And maybe she does also.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have any, you see, this doesn't work well. You need to take, I like to.
Okay.
Hi,
Right.
Rosanna.
But the
Take off
thing
this.
is, yeah.
Now,
Now the thing is, we okay.
if she's tied with everybody here.
Yeah.
Be the only people
I think
that
I'm
she,
having a nervous breakdown.
Yeah. Take afterwards. If you're trying to stay tight for a moment, you realize that it's really a delirium, that you alone can do all the work. So I'm just telling you that you have to relax and to allow other people to do,
Do you
part
give
of the job.
Valium when you're done here?
Huh? No, we can provide afterwards, Valium, don't worry.
I'm serious.
Yeah, okay. Valium, this is a country full of Valium.
That's
Valium and the McDonald's are everywhere. So, I think that somehow you had to pass through some suffering. Because you have been suffering already a great deal. But a different kind of suffering that allow him to be more visible for you and for them, and allow her to recognize that she doesn't need this. Do you see how she carry well this? She doesn't talk with me, but she can carry this for days. Because fit, in a regal position, fake regal position. She's a little troubled girl that she needs support. Okay? A lot of support. She's already moving toward believing that she's crazy, some level, you know?
Through discomfort, who has to reach severe crisis, through discomfort, people look better themselves. So if we can prescribe, let's say in general, have big discomfort and you grow. But you cannot do that. People don't like to hear that, you know?
Now, of course, we have a sense of ethic, of the ontology of our profession. Even more, we have a sense of what you think is right or totally wrong in the family. You know, when you see someone who is very brutal or abusive toward another person, inside yourself, it's difficult to accept. So I tend to believe that I see horrible things in front of me, bad things in front of me every day. I tend not to judge. I tend to have a reasonably freedom to explore what's behind that behavior. Otherwise, I work with the pre-criminal adolescent in the South Bronx. I mean, if I would have looked at their behavior, daily behavior in school, outside, they were so violent, you know. There were no way not to say, these are bad kids. So I tried to look in badness. I looked at badness in order to find something else. I don't deny the badness, but I don't get too paralyzed or too judging, you know, when they see that badness. So it's very easy to say. You say, John is bad, okay? John can be an adolescent, a man, whatever. So John is bad, or John behaves bad. So which part of this sentence I feel I have to join with? Many therapists, not only therapists, teachers, they get so much curious, so much involved in the badness. I'm interested in John all the time. So if I'm interested in John, I look at John in his totality. Then I try to see what's bad in John. So it's a totally different idea. Some people is suicidal. I've been working with many kids who are suicidal or try to suicide. I'm more interested in the action of, making danger your life, or in that person. So if you're interested in the person, then you want to know about the person, the history of that person, who is around that person. This is the frame. Then if you use that frame, even the worst or dangerous behavior is become relative. While if you work with that behavior without thinking to the person, that behavior become absolute. You know, our life is paralyzed because of that. You know, families say that. We don't know what to do. This is the end of the road. What does it mean? You have a problem with the child, but this is not the end of the road. It's the end of the road if you make that behavior, you believe that that behavior is absolute, is everything. My brother died the day of the anniversary of my marriage, which was also a signal that he was 22 years later. And it's an incredible interpersonal quality. It's never something that you do for yourself, you know? It's always as a meaning, as a violent action that is related with other people as well. It's not just about you. Understand? It's like when you marry, it's the same thing. You know, it's a big, intense relationship between people. So when you die in this traumatic way, there is also a big interpersonal element. And one day they called me and they told me that he jumped on a window and he died. So in a sense, I have the feeling that I saw the action without being there. He has a coat, so it was mine. I left it home, so I was using it. So then I had some nightmares after he died, and I was not sure that it was he or was me jumping from the window, because he has this coat, was like be part of me. I left, so you never know. The last time I saw him was 3 months before he died. So sometimes I felt it was also the punishment for abandoning him, you never know.
he commits suicide in order to keep peace to the family at the end. Because if you imagine that he wouldn't have suicide, now would be 67-old psychotic chronic man living, who knows, because it's not so easy to have a very good life, when you start so early. So maybe it's a very heavy life, So, sometimes also people feel there is no space for me in this world, So it's better to leave the world. That was the first change of my life. So the war was just a memory that I could even identify with. Poverty was fun, but then the disease of my brother was a long-lasting drama in my family that for many years, nobody knew how to cope with that. Probably I learned through my brother what I use in my profession. I knew that he was psychotic, but I knew that he was my brother. There was an adolescent, was a young adult. So I never referred to him as a patient, let's say, as a crazy guy. I always referred to him doing crazy stuff. Because, of course, I passed through all the stages. The first stage was my parents are guilty, They treat him not well, they're too anxious, they're too controlling, this and that. So I passed through, as a brother, I passed through all this stigma, kind of. But then I was growing up, I was seeing how much they trying to deal with the issue, with no success, with big problem. Emotional, economical problems, so I became more benevolent toward them, which also has been my heritage, which means I brought that attitude with people who were not my family. So I always say, which of course make me in a difficult situation, that if I had to belong to the unions, I would rather prefer the unions of the sick families than the unions of the therapists. Because I identify more as a family person than the therapeutic part of the therapeutic community, which also made me in trouble, because when I start to develop the idea that a child is better than a ecotherapist, that the competence is not in our hands, but the competence is shared, and it has to come from them. So this is not really a good language for people who are very proud of their competence. The majority of professionals are very proud of how they are competent. So to say them, this is not really so important, your competence, how you make them competent. So, what happened? A family is here. Generally, I try, because I have this possibility, to watch the family 1 minute from the one-way mirror, from the other side. But, of course, you not always can have that opportunity. You have only one house here? Just a second.
Good.
So the family is here. What I do, I look for some non-verbal clues. And then, of course, I always know, or I understand, who is the problem for which family comes to.
You have to help me with this arrangement here.
Je moet hem even helpen met deze 2 huizen die je hier ziet.
Do you see? There are 2 houses.
Zie je? Er zijn 2 huizen.
So, and I would like to understand from you
En hij wil van jou horen
about your houses.
over jouw huizen, waar jij woont.
So, which one you think is your house
Welk huis zou jij, is jouw
with
huis?
daddy and with your brother?
Met je papa en met je broertje? Welke is daar van jou?
You can go close.
Je mag er best naartoe gaan.
So I try to see how people are organized around the person that bring them to me. How they sit, how they look each other. What's the position of the person that is brought there as the difficulty? So, and then I start to build up from that, you know?
First of all, which of the 2 houses need more help?
Welk van de 2 huizen heeft meer hulp nodig?
This one. So, can you tell me what could be changed in
Kun je
that
zeggen
house?
wat er in dat huis veranderd kan worden?
Denk je?
Vandaag niet de mond vol. Vandaag wel.
Okay. Was tiring? For you? Huh? They're still here? They're still talking.
They come and they tell me that. It's not me. They come and they tell me, they show me how bad is their life. Even though his life with so big gold around, But so they come. I will never dare to say, you know, your life is shitty. Look at that. Nobody cares for each other, no? They come. How they come? Not for philosophical understanding. They come through problems. So you teach that that child is unique. That brother or sister is unique. That mother, that father, you know. So in many ways, which is also another big provocation, family therapy is the best individual therapy that's never been invented, because you don't change a relationship. Of course, you change a relationship, but you change perception of each people about themselves in relationship to the others.
Good. Now, do you mind if I still stay a few minutes with the missing people?
No.
Does your father know that we are today here?
No, I don't think so.
You didn't call him? Say, you know, I'm going with my mommy to be helped by this guy?
No.
So you lost contact with him?
Yeah.
You lost
a bit.
contact?
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, my mother doesn't like him a lot, so.
Oh, you know, I know so many mothers that don't like her husband a lot
Yes.
anymore. But still, kids with their own legs, they walk and they go to visit their fathers. They spend time with their fathers. They have fun. So in your case, you are locked in the house with mommy. You cannot
Yes.
ring or knock the door of your father. Huh?
Yes.
So it was so bad.
Not for me, but yeah, for my mother, the most. Yeah.
So if mommy would say, I don't have any problem that you meet your father, you would like to meet him?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah? What you would like to do with him?
I don't know, just the usual stuff that you will do with your father. Just go to see a movie or something.
So to feel that you have a grown-up man that can have
Yeah.
time for you, and you feel that can guide me, huh?
Yes.
So that's tough. So you have to cut that connection for loyalty toward your mother.
Yeah.
So you love mommy immensely. Sometimes love is very tricky.
Yeah.
You know that? Huh? Sometimes it's better not to love completely and to have some space for be loved too by others. Huh?
Yeah.
You think daddy miss you?
Yeah, I do. I do think that
Yeah.
he missed me.
So who knows if this meeting can help mommy to feel that you can open the door, huh? We will explore that. You have to get in touch with what they call crisis or symptoms. And you have almost to amplify that in order to make everybody to look at that, you know? So instead of minimizing, let's say, a child problem, you want to see that in a way in which you give words, you give a language in this amplification in order that everybody can see that. And then, from that point, you start to reframe the meaning of that problem. You repair in the same moment that you open up. It's not just sequentially. You first open the wound, then you repair. In the same moment in which you open up the wound, as you say, you are already repairing. Because you are transforming the meaning of the wound in the same moment in which you open up on that. And I told you, the same moment in which I make a child or an adolescent with problems to believe that these problems are also part of it, the expertise of that person, the expertise for the fact you are already doing some healing. So, the main reason for which you brought him here
Yes,
is because his room is locked?
yes. It's not a normal thing, I think, in the house when constantly his room is locked.
Yeah.
It's not normal.
What is not normal? That is locked because he's sad, or is
constantly
locked
with his,
because he doesn't want to communicate with you?
With that, how do you call that?
iPad.
iPad thing.
And when you were kids, there was someone that was closing doors in the family?
Well, sometimes.
Who?
My mother.
Your mother. She would close the door.
Uh-huh.
You didn't like that?
No, I don't like that.
Okay.
No, I didn't like that.
So you
no.
don't like people that close doors?
No, no.
But in effect, you are the one that closed the biggest door. Do you know that? You don't like people
Explain
that...
that to me,
I
please.
explained to you. Did you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain to her?
Because I can go to my father, and that's the door you close.
Uh-huh. Yes.
I feel we are in the most decadent period and the most colonized period of our ideas. I never saw anything so conformistic as today in the field of mental health, or in the field of allied profession in there. So if this is part of what you want to hear from me, I feel also very discouraged that this kind of predominant discourse that we have today will be really profoundly transformed. Today we have a sort of plot which says insurance company has to get their gains by what? By mental disturbances, by psychological problem. But at the same time, they pay. So we have to make diagnosis on children, on people, in order to say to insurance that this is the diagnosis, pay me, and we treat the child. This is an economical plot. In reality, the point is that what do you do with that diagnosis? If this is just to get the money from the insurance, fine. But if that means that you really have to believe that that child has this kind of diagnosis, and then you have to give pills or medication according to that diagnosis, this is really very bad. And this is what happens most of the time. When we decide that sadness doesn't exist anymore in human life, we are not supposed to be sad anymore. Sadness is part of our condition. We are born and we die. People are sad in any age for losses, for feeling alone, left out, breaking marriages, missing people, emigrating, etc., etc. So sadness is part of happiness, is the other side of happiness. Adolescents, if they are not sad during the period of adolescence, will be much more sad later on in their life. If we transform sadness, as is happening, in depression, and then we give Prozac to them, we make a lot of damage, because we are saying people don't have the right to be sad. Plus, you are not sad, you have a disease. So take a pill. So for how many years you tried in any way you could possibly try to signal to your parents that it's time for peace?
That I tried.
Huh? For how many years?
3.
Huh?
3 years.
3 years. So you did a lot of job.
Yeah.
And you did with rational, with nice ways, and you did also with some of your symptoms, eh?
Of course, yeah.
So mommy maybe doesn't understand that when you cut or do something wrong, it's a signal for her too, for him too. Do you know?
Yeah.
So what might have to happen in you, especially you, that they can stop this game of war?
I just want them to stop.
Yeah, well, what has to happen?
They need to communicate again.
Yeah.
And they need to talk and ask me how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And not talk about me and my diagnosis or my problems, but just about me and my feelings. And I want them to ask about him, because I'm not strong enough to take care for him.
Yeah.
And I want them to take care of him.
Do you know that some kids I knew even reached the point to make danger their life, to signal to their parents that it was time to take care of the kids and stop playing games?
Yeah.
This is very dangerous, you know? Does your mother ever has been able to listen to you deeply?
She didn't.
So what we had to do to open her ears and to stop her to talking about the marriage, about slapping, blah, blah, blah?
I don't know anymore.
Huh? You don't know anymore.
No, there's a lot of distance between.
Does she love you?
I don't know. She loves me.
That's the point. Okay, the method is
to make everybody free to be better himself or herself, to use all the best part of him or her. That's the method, because this is what I do with myself. To use all the part that I have, my childish side, my humor, my serious side, and my experience, my voice, whatever, my intuitions. So this is it. You cannot teach which is come first. You teach how people can be themselves therapists. That's also is becoming a kind of slogan, from doing to being. This is easy to say, but what does it mean? From doing therapy to being therapist. Basically means, in the best use of this language, to use yourself fully, to give yourself permission to do what you think is more useful, more helpful in the situation. There is a rule? No. There is a guideline? No. There is you with yourself and your experience. Through the marriage, I passed through so many legal problems. You remarry. Another child, an age when you can be a grandfather, So my child could be my grandchild for the age I have. So I think for me, this kind of renewal is the energy of my life, new discoveries. If I didn't have a child, for example, I would have preferred maybe to live in New York, where I lived for years and I loved. But with the child, Australia is the best place, especially Western Australia, because it's a paradise for children. So for the years I have, I want to enjoy that paradise. Oh, one important thing, through these two failures, which I think now, of course I have other failures, but this one, my brother died, and my marriage died. And if I think about my life, I have a lot of success in some ways, a lot of strength, a lot of initiative. So I think, because of my failures, so I try to teach my little son now how it's important to fail in life. Because we always teach kids how to succeed. Always that, of course, we like that too. We like that mostly. But we also have to acknowledge the importance of failures. And that's the other reason for which I really much don't judge families, because when family come to the room, they fail many times, many important things, So I don't judge them. I feel, oh, that's good.
So you learned that maybe at home, and now you're using it in...
Yeah, I think I always talks about the school life versus the school.
Can you say that again?
The school life and the school. School is where we go when we are children, the university. School life is another teaching, and it's based on what happened in you and your brothers, parents around you, how you learn, from family events, which at the very end are more long-lasting teaching than school. How many teachers you remember at the end? A couple of them after study 20 years or more. So you remember the school life. So I tried to introduce in the school life of a number of families some new hope, some new energy, some new possibility. That's the idea.
To become a teacher from the school of life.
Yeah, that's good.
That might be
I would love that.
the title of the
Already
documentary,
remember,
right?
Yeah.
That might be the title.
Yeah, the teacher, the school of life, through mistakes and failures.